Okay, I'm at 202 Sands Avenue, Monroe, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that would be concerning for fire. Our access is the roof vent on this one. There's a stack in between the bathrooms, or in the bathroom wall in the basement that has been covered over. There's also a floor clean out in the unfinished area, but there's a shelf built right on top of it. So we're trying to go through the roof vent, so hopefully we can make our way all the way out through those areas. Falling should be turn to cast iron. There we go. It's actually a nice smooth transition. I figured it would be a little bit worse than that, honestly. Cast iron's not a bad material. It's just got a lifespan. So it looks like that looks like a wet wipe, which would give me an opportunity to say what I always do in these videos when you're talking about cast iron, trying to knock that thing loose there. With cast iron, if you can see how rough the pipe walls are because they rust, and so you have a lot higher rate or a lot higher chance of a soft clog due to these things. Toilet paper is designed to disintegrate, and so if it catches enough water, it'll just turn to nothing and disintegrate into the water, and you don't have to worry about anything now. With cast iron and a wet wipe, the wet wipe can get caught, and even if it says flushable, the wet wipe will not break down in the water. It'll take a lot longer. And so it's a lot easier for those things to get stuck, and when they do, things just build up behind them. So it's a lot more common soft clogs in cast iron lines in general, but wet wipes and paper towels and stuff can make those things a lot worse. Okay, we are exiting the 3-inch clay. It looks like, or 4-inch, the 4-inch cast iron going into probably 6-inch clay. So it's about normal for this era. This is definitely clay. There was a little tiny piece of root there, just one little strand. Okay, about 57, 58 feet there. That's the most common thing you'll see in clay lines, is some root intrusion, just due to the fact that these connections are very, very close together. These sections of pipe are only about 3 to 4 feet in length, and so because of that, there's a lot of situations where there's a lot of opportunity for roots to get into those loose joints. But it didn't take long, and we must be off the property, because we are now in what looks like concrete. You can see the exposed aggregate on the side, so we are in concrete pipe now, which is a lot better as far as root intrusion. You can see that don't really have a whole lot of problems with the and they're running water all over the place in there. The main stack that we're going down through is both the bathrooms, and then the kitchen is also running. So we should be getting pretty close to the main here, based off the footage, and just as I say that, thought we were dropping right into it, but I guess not. unless I'm already in the main, which is a possibility, and that we're out 100 feet. But we're at the main right here. I think we're opening up into it right here. Yep, there we are. You can see the pipe opening up into a larger pipe. So, really, the line looked great. Took us 103, 104 feet to get out there, but the line is in really good shape. It was cast iron inside, and then switched over to clay for a short distance, maybe 20 feet, and then it went over to concrete until probably close to the property line is where it switched from clay to concrete, and then concrete all the way to the main, and you can see the main is also concrete. Usually when they build neighborhoods like this, the developer would have come along and put in the sewer mains first, which are obviously the concrete, and then they run concrete pipe up onto each lot before any of the houses are built, put the roads in, all that good stuff, and then they come back through, and when the houses are built, they run the line out to meet up with the original line that had been put on the lot. When they did that, this era is kind of a hodgepodge. 60s and 70s, there's a lot of different materials they were using, but in this case, there's a little bit of copper in the house, cast iron under the floor in the house, and then switching to clay outside for a few feet, and then to concrete. So you got pretty much all four materials that were available at the time in one line, but all of it looks really, really good. So I'm going to pause the video for a minute and see if we can turn the water off, so that way the water can drain down, and we hopefully can see just a little bit better on the way back without the water reflecting all the light of the camera. Okay, we've got the water off, but I'll have to see if it's drained down all the way yet. Well, there we are at the main, so hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit better. We're going to wait for this water to drain down. Just kind of waiting a minute. You can see how it's slowing down pretty good, so okay, I think it's probably good enough to go ahead and start pulling back. You can see with 6-inch concrete, it's a little bit harder to see inside just because of how diluted the light gets in such a big pipe. But the line looked really good. No root intrusion. Oop. A little bit of surface crack there, but no, it's holding shape, and that's off the property, so no major issue there. I want to see if I can take a look at that, but a little bit of bleed through. Concrete is, as long as it's holding shape, you're not really worried about it. There's nothing to show any reason why there would be any kind of shifting or movement of the land through here. And so radial cracks and stuff are relatively normal. If you don't have anything coming through them, it's not an issue. And plus that is well off the property, so if that ever does cause an issue, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It would be repaired by the municipality. In most areas anyway. We'd have to talk specifically to the whoever the county, I'm assuming out here, so you pay the sewer bill to. Okay, now we're back into clay at about 65 feet there. And so we'll know about how much back in the clay, but you can see a lot better now without the water running. Every fixture was running at that point, so that's why there's so much more reflection off the water. Okay, and a little bit of roots here. Oh, well, that's not even attached anymore, I don't think. I think it's loose. I think I drug it loose before. Yep, it was. Okay, and we're about 51 feet here. And then the first 51 feet basically is not even the first 51 feet, because I think we got about 20 feet of vertical is what I was looking for. The vertical part of the line is copper, like we talked about, and so the cast is only until the base of the stack. And the cast looks about normal for its age. You can see the buildup along the bottom, how it's kind of flattened out, but overall the line is keeping shape. It just tends to build up mineral deposits and rust along the bottom, and that's why I discussed earlier about making sure that you're not using anything you shouldn't, because the rust can catch things, but there's no physical damage or structural issues with the line. You can see this is all normal for this age of cast iron. So you really don't know how long cast iron's going to last. You can't tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are from using the camera. But oh, that's why you got a little bit of PVC in here, probably underneath where they added the bathroom. But so about 27 feet is where the cast iron starts, and then here we are vertical. You can tell we're vertical because the water drips off the front of the camera lens. This is a smaller camera because I have to get up on the roof, but the larger one has an angle indicator on the bottom left hand corner around the footage marker. With this it doesn't, so you can't tell that other than the water dripping off the front of the camera, there's no indication to show that we are vertical. You can see we're out of the pipe and back in the reel. Overall, the line looked great. Looks about par for the course as far as the materials are concerned. No root intrusion in any of the clay as it drops off. There's probably 25 feet of clay. Cast iron in the house looks normal for its age. Again, just make sure you're not flushing anything you shouldn't. No wet wipes, no paper towels, no feminine products, and as long as you're just using toilet paper, that should treat you well. And that's just a very important thing. That's why I harp on it, because people will use wet wipes and then wonder why the sewer backs up. And it's because even though they say flushable on them, they don't break down. Sewer systems were not designed for those things. And then the concrete, which is where it leaves the property. I'm assuming with the footage, the sewer mains across the street. The concrete looked good. There were a couple radial cracks out near the main, but the pipe itself is holding shape. And if there is ever any issue out there, that would be on the municipality to repair, because it is under the street. But it's, like I said, it's holding shape, so nothing I would worry about. So overall, the line's in great shape for its age and is fully functional, open, and flowing at time of inspection. So that's going to end the inspection at 202 Sands Avenue in Monroe, Ohio.